I stumbled upon a gaming PC pre-built deal of a lifetime, and the point of this video isn't to showcase you what's readily available every day of the week, but to prove to you that the crazy deals are out there if you're looking. This is a beautiful and super powerful 1440p gaming PC, and I sniped it at a price that's well under the total cost of the parts. The seller had 0 reviews, the price was super shady, but the description that read, "Looking to sell it because PC just isn't for me. Don't have the time nor the back to sit at a desk anymore," was convincing enough for me to take the gamble.
What could possibly go wrong?
Did it pan out though? We'll find that out in today's video, after a quick word from today's sponsor.
And real quickly, since I know my audience is always interested in saving money when building and selling gaming PCs, today's video sponsor, GVG Mall, can definitely help you out with that. I've worked with GVG Mall for so long now and have bought probably close to 100 keys myself, and they're hooking you all up big time with the 25% off discount if you use code ZTT18 with the link in the description. GVG Mall has Windows activation keys as well as Microsoft Office, game keys for platforms like Steam and Origin, and they even have console stuff too like PSN and Xbox prepaid cards. Activating Windows couldn't be easier. Just paste in the key that you get instantly after paying on the website, so remove that ugly unactivated watermark for good. Don't forget to use ZTT18 for 25% off with the link in the description.
All right, so let's get that disclaimer out of the way real quickly. Yes, I sniped this PC build off Java.gg, a company that I work for on the side, and I have equity in the company.
Yep, that's me.
I absolutely have reasons to be biased towards a video like this, and there's nothing we can really do about it. What I can tell you is that I paid for this PC with my own money. Nobody at Java knows that I bought this PC unless they randomly saw the transaction go through, and nobody at Java knows that I'm making this video. And trust me, if I wanted to build a hidden agenda video trying to fake promote Java, I wouldn't have bought it from a seller who never even changed his default account name, has no pictures, 0 reviews, and didn't even list all the specs of his PC. When I bought this, there was a very real chance that I was gonna get scammed. Now, of course, Java does have buyer protections, and even though I'm an employee, I definitely would have utilized that if I got scammed to make sure I got my money back. So going back to this listing though, the specs that the seller did list out were a Ryzen 5 7600, an RX 7800 XT, which is almost a $500 graphics card, an 800 watt power supply, 16 gigs of DDR5 RAM, and a 500 gigabyte NVMe SSD. I could see from the listing photos that this was a typical fish tank DIY PC case. He used the stock cooler, no cable extensions, and it looked like a decently competent put together system. And again, because of what he said about his back and how he just didn't like PCs,
My back! Oh, my back!
I got the vibe that it was somewhat legit. And just for the record, one of the biggest reasons that I was skeptical about this listing at all was simply just because of the price. He had it listed for $825, and here's the PC part picker list of everything inside the build. This is literally over an $1,100 gaming PC, so that price is pretty much too good to be true. Once it arrived though, some things started to make a lot of sense. Remember that this isn't an established PC builder or seller on Java. This is a one-time deal type of seller just trying to get rid of his PC. I wasn't expecting any sort of extra protection in the packaging, and we sure enough didn't get any. The case was shipped in just the case box alone, no outer box, no fragile stickers, no additional padding on the inside, or literally anything. Honestly, at that point, I was just happy and considered myself lucky that it arrived in one piece. One of the first things I did notice was that the USB 3 cable had come completely unplugged and it was just dangling there. Literally, I've never seen that happen before. The rear top corner was also badly bent. I could barely unscrew the screw here to remove the rear panel. This probably happened during shipping. And the GPU was actually slightly out of the socket as well. Again, probably happened during shipping because there's no Instapack or bubble wrap keeping everything nice and together, but obviously I can fix this myself. And the only other major thing I noticed was that the RGB light button wasn't working. And after investigation, I realized that the RGB simply wasn't connected up at all because there's no ARGB port on this super cheap motherboard. We'll eventually fix that with one of those SATA powered ARGB adapters. So again, not a huge deal. Now, if I was buying this as my first ever PC buying experience, then some of these issues would have been a slight inconvenience. But remember, I'm just buying from a random dude on a marketplace. This is not an established seller. This person had no established rep, probably has never sold or shipped a PC before, and I'll gladly deal with these issues because of how good the price was. Once we fired it up, we did notice that the seller actually used sysprep, so the Windows installation screen was waiting to be finished. That's actually a pretty nice touch. And when we went into the BIOS, AMD's Expo wasn't enabled, so the RAM speeds were just left at default. default, and the BIOS wasn't really updated at all either. Again, I didn't really expect those things to happen when buying a PC in this type of scenario, and all of these things are easily fixable. Once we got the PC booted up into Windows successfully, everything checked out pretty much normal. We even ran an anti-malware scan just to make sure nothing was on here, and yeah, this was as fresh as it gets without any issues. Now, when we get this crazy of a deal, we're of course gonna fully stress test it and benchmark it to make sure that all of the components are up to snuff. We first fired up Cinebench 2024, and after a 10-minute run, the GPU only peaked up to 77 degrees, but our CPU did get up to 87. I didn't get a chance to fully evaluate this, but I would imagine this is a combination of using the stock cooler with Ryzen 7000 series, which isn't amazing to begin with, but the thermal paste application is probably not in tip-top shape. Peaking at 87 degrees during a stress test is perfectly fine, and we're not going to go anywhere near those temperatures when actually gaming, but if I had to guess, I'm sure we could drop those temperatures down just a little bit with a new thermal paste reapplication. Moving on to the benchmarks, we obviously fired up 3D Mark's TimeSpy first, and this 7600 and 7800 XT combo cranked out a score of 16,856. Compared to the parts price of $1,111, it's actually a very solid 15x multiplier, which is exactly what I look for when building PCs myself, but when you factor in my $825 purchase price, that totals up to a 20x multiplier. This is literally one of the best price to performance builds I've ever featured on the channel before, which is honestly pretty crazy because we've been going hard on PC builds for over half a decade. Again, this price to performance isn't something that you should expect because this was a true once in a lifetime deal, but it's always important in my opinion to highlight the big dubs that you can sometimes find on the internet. And the 500GB SSD and 5200 MHz 16GB RAM kit is also in our favor in terms of price to performance, but it's not exactly desirable for a real gamer. But speaking of gaming, we also tested Helldivers 2 after we created our PSN account, of course, right? And in 1440p with ultra settings, we got a very smooth 91 FPS average. After that was Cyberpunk 2077, and here again in 1440p ultra, we got 111 FPS when using the built-in benchmark. Even Starfield, which is one of the most demanding games to run, was still able to be played at 1440p ultra settings, and here we got a still smooth 72 FPS. Here's the rest of the games we tested, and as you can see, other than the competitive shooters where we purposely knocked down the settings for higher FPS, we're easily able to play absolutely every title in 1440p ultra with this CPU and GPU combination. Over the past few months, I've been saying the same two messages over and over again on my TikToks and YouTube shorts, and both of those messages came through with this purchase. The first one is that I'm always telling people how good the RX 7700 XT and especially the 7800 XT are for 1440p gaming. This Sapphire model that we have here in our build today is only $480, and when you can see that it clearly delivers in every game in 1440p ultra, you realize that that price to performance is pretty wild. The other message is that you should always keep tabs on the PC building marketplaces and especially your local marketplaces, because you never know when someone is trying to get rid of a PC build where they're not trying to make a profit. I recently made a short talking about how some random dude scored a monster gaming PC, table, chair, Xbox controller, and more for only $1,000. I calculated it up and he got over $3,000 in value, and it's simply because the seller discovered grass for the first time and he just wanted more money towards outdoor stuff like four-wheelers and dirt bikes. That's pretty close to the same situation that we have here today. I actually messaged the seller on Java because he first discovered that it was me that bought the PC and reached out saying he was a ZTT fan. Obviously that's awesome. But then I asked him why he sold the PC at such a low price, and he said, yeah, I absolutely did take a loss on it. Was trying to get rid of it. Could have listed it for more, but it's cool that you bought it. Not every single person is focused on min-maxing profits when selling a gaming PC, so if you keep your eyes out for it, you too could snag a deal like this one day. And just as a heads up, we're actually giving away this PC too over on my Twitch channel. I live stream PC builds every single Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we're always running a month-long giveaway where you simply earn points and tickets by watching the stream. The longer you watch, the higher chance you have at winning the PC. The giveaway this month will indeed be the PC here in this video, so if you want to win it, click the Twitch link down in the description and turn on notifications that way you don't miss any of the streams. I hope you guys enjoyed me talking about this Omega score that I got on Java, but just in case if you want to build the PC yourself for around this similar price point, then feel free to click the video that's on the screen now.